Kevin, one of our board members, attended the 9/11 ceremony. So it should be ending at 5:30, 6:30. So he'll be here in a minute. But with that, let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up our schedule just a little bit. We'll go right to privilege of the floor. If there's anybody that'd like to speak to the privilege of the floor, your opportunity, yes?
Hi, should I stand? Should I stay seated? My name's Danny. I do have permission to speak?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. My name's Danny. I work with Point Broadband. You might know us. We provide internet service in some of the more rural areas like along 281, 41 and 90. So the reason I'm here today is not really to talk about internet service, but about digital literacy in the community. Part of our original grant process was making sure that the communities we served are, digitally literate so that they can do streaming services, do telemedicine, be really able to use technology in the most meaningful way. And in order to do that, I try to go into the community and provide classes. So right now I actually am scheduling with the library for like the upcoming few weeks, but I just wanted to come in here and approach the town to kind of see how you feel about this kind of endeavor here. And if you have any suggestions for me to be more involved in the community to spread the word about this. Because although we do provide internet service, I'm not here as a salesperson or anything like that. In fact, I have nothing to gain if anyone buys internet from Point Broadband. I just am here to teach the community about, using fiber optic internet. So I just wanted to share that with you, let you know that I'm going to be around. Maybe you'll see some flyers about events that are going on. And I hope to be active and, maybe start a dialogue or discourse about what it means to be digitally literate as a community. That's all.
So when you say you're going to be teaching, what does that involve? Like if we have our seniors, you give them classes on how to...
So I've worked with kids as young as 5 and adults who have Alzheimer's and dementia. I joke that I can teach anyone anything, but it's kind of true. So what I've done is I create like educational programs for people who it might be their first time ever trying to stream with a Roku or something, or even just getting on the computer. And it is kind of important because technology is what keeps us connected and educated these days, and it's only going to continue to grow. So this is a service that it would not be of charge to the community, maybe except for allowing me to use spaces. I would state that it was hosted by Point Broadband because part of it is we were given the opportunity to do this, and my role is to not just like ensure that things are happening with regards to mailers or where we're allowed to knock or do things, but it's also to be active in the community. So this is my introduction. It's really nice to meet you all. I look forward to hearing about Homer. Nice town. I've driven by a lot before. It's always very quaint, so I'll enjoy commuting here and hopefully getting to know everybody as time.
So where are you commuting from?
Ithaca.
Ithaca.
That's where our hub is,
Okay.
for the New York office.
So what's your vision on being up here, just at scheduled times?
Yeah, I will be doing classes probably either weekly or bi-monthly or every other week at the library for starting. That's where I'll begin. One challenge that I found is even though a local library might be supportive, not everyone is attentive to what goes on at their local library. So I find that coming in and communicating with the town also helps kind of get the knowledge and get the word out that maybe somebody who should be interested and engaged, or sometimes even sharing within town bulletins, or if you have an events opportunity page for people to view. I know personally I always think about my mother-in-law. She doesn't have Facebook, and she doesn't have any of that, but she likes to check the weather and the town website. That's all she really does, and like the historical pages. And that's some people's only connection to technology, is just those limited resources, maybe Googling something once in a while. So my job is to expand that for the sake of our community, and to get people more involved. I mean, even something as simple as telemedicine, maybe some of us have benefited from, if we were sick, we could still see our doctors because we know how to do that. Not everyone can benefit from that if they don't have the knowledge. So.
Well, do you have any cards or literature with you?
Well, I have my card. I could provide information about classes to whomever would be appropriate. It's just I don't bring my printed materials unless they're requested.
Well, one that comes to my mind, and I think it would be a great opportunity to connect with our senior citizens, and they meet here in our facility downstairs twice a month?
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday. So, maybe you need to reach out to the clerks and we get you to contact. That may be a great venue to work with our seniors to get started up here.
Yeah, and we want to give every opportunity to every.
And we have the room downstairs that you can meet in until we do, if we ever start our remodeling project, which will be later in the year.
Awesome.
So we do have a room downstairs. So, that may be a good start. But if there's connections, we got connections to churches around that have a lot of seniors and people that would really need it. Most of our youth, if I don't know, something you give to one of your grandkids and they straighten you out.
That's great. The one thing is that what I've learned, and this is also because I worked in public education too, is a lot of times people know how to do things it's kind of just a muscle memory. Like a 2-year-old can click next on the YouTube video and they don't really know what they're doing. They just know they push a button and something happens. Of course, there's more education behind it for some people, but just because you know something doesn't mean you can teach it. So I'm here to teach.
Okay.
That's my goal. Hopefully just be more exposed in certain elements. Maybe I just went and got ice cream, maybe just there's really a lot of people there, maybe just stopping and saying, hey, have you ever thought about what you'd like to know about the internet? And just might be a face around town. You also might have seen my coworker Larry. He normally accompanies me to meetings. He's a nice guy. He is a sales representative. He can answer all of those questions in the future, but he's just has a lot of knowledge because he talks to everybody in the area. So he'll say, like right now we're also, I went to yesterday to talk with Marathon because I've spoken directly with people there and here who have struggled with, setting up online bill pay because they don't know how to use the online portal, because they don't know how to download an app to their phone. So, and while I can provide my people with education and I can tell them, oh, hey, we'll be here, I can't tell everybody that this is available for them. And it's not just for people I provide internet to, it's for the community.
Well, if you could drop some information off to the clerks or whatever, we'll see if we can get you hooked up with our seniors.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm just going to leave my card behind.
Okay.
And I'm just going to hang out for the rest of the meeting and listen to
That's fine.
what's the goings on in the town. And just thanks for taking, hopefully not too long, to listen to me.
All right.
I would request a moment to speak.
Yes.
I didn't bring a speech or anything like that. This board is well aware of how the vast majority of this community feels about the billboard issue.
Would you state your name, please, so we have an
Nancy
official?
Defoe, and I'm
Okay.
a lifelong resident.
Yep.
We are well aware of the board's friendship with the couple owners that are going to benefit by renting their land for the billboards. I just want you to know that this community feels really angry, really confused, really surprised, because we thought our representatives represented the people, not a couple friends. And I want you to know that it's not going away. And while you may decide to proceed with this, no matter what we do or say, there will, in fact, be residue left that you have to live with as members of this community, and it will stay with you forever. Just want to make that statement.
Okay. Anyone else?
My name is Miles Dudgeon. I'm a resident of Homer. I and several other people that are joining me and other people in our community who stand against the billboard proposal are curious where the board's research stands with that, and if there's a timeline for for release of that?
Within the next month, month and a half, we'll have it finalized and ready to go to the public and then do a final vote.
And will that include economic impact?
It's gonna,
Estimates and
yes,
all
we're
that
gonna be all inclusive, we're gonna do the seeker next. We're gonna do a full-blown seeker, so. And then with that, I mean, there's a process that we have to go through. I don't care what any of you say, we have to go through this process. Where it comes out the other side, I have no idea. The board's not told how to vote, the board, everyone has their own opinion, but we need to go through the process. Because you guys, and I get these letters, I'm incompetent, you're gonna sue me, you're gonna sue the board, well, understand that, but at the same time, if we don't go through this process, we could be sued just the other way. So we're trying to do it the right way, make sure our I's are dotted, our T's are crossed. And then if somebody does wanna sue us, if it goes in front of a judge, they're gonna say, okay, they did the procedure the correct way. That's all we're looking at. I have no idea where it's gonna come out because we're gonna make sure we do it the correct way. And that's all we're trying to do as a board. And we're gonna continue forward. We're invested this far into it. And it's just like anybody else that wants to do something, there's a procedure that goes through from a planning board to the ZBA board to the code enforcement. You know, when you wanna do something. So we're just making sure we're following the process according to law. According to the law, we can't hand that off to anybody else. It is the town board's responsibility. Now, the other thing people don't always realize, we are a small community. Everybody knows everybody in this community. I've lived here all my life. Most everybody here has been here all their lives. I know just about everybody and everybody knows me. So there's no way of getting around that part of it. We're not a 10 million population center. So we're gonna deal with it the best way we possibly can, and we'll make sure it's done ethically. Everybody's gonna know what's going on when we get to the point. We have been very transparent up to this point. We've been doing the research, and we're gonna bring that in front of everybody so everybody gets the same information that we get. So that's where we stand on it.
If I may,
Anyone else?
I take issue with the statement that you've been transparent, because the research project of this board has been going on for a long time. And we haven't seen anything out of the board in response to it.
You will be seeing it all. We're not gonna give out false information or bad information. We're making sure we got it correctly and done correctly, and then it's gonna be presented. When we go through the seeker, we'll see what the seeker says. And it may not make sense. I don't know which way it's gonna go. If it doesn't make sense, we won't do it. If it makes sense, then that's a different possibility. I have no idea yet. I haven't made up my mind. And you know, everyone knows my land's in play. I don't want a billboard, but I want my land in play. I've already told them I don't want a billboard on my property, but I'm 67 years old. There'll come a day I want to retire, maybe sell. If it goes through, it's a possibility for someone else in the future, if it goes through. When it comes time to vote, I won't be voting.
So are you admitting that this improves the value of your land right now?
Either way, it could improve it or it could decrease it. I don't know. Until we go through the seeker, I have no idea.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
But I'm not gonna answer,
Much
any
respect,
more
Mike.
questions. But I've never hid the fact, when I ran for office for the supervisor's position, this has been going on 2 years, so I inherited this. Everyone knows my land has been played. I've never hid it, I've never downplayed it, and never said I wasn't involved in it, and I still got elected into the office. So most people, you say there's a majority of people that are opposed to this, there's a lot of people that aren't opposed to it, and a lot of people aren't even commenting on it. So we're just gonna go through the process, and then we'll see where we end up with it. That's all I can tell you right now. But it's gonna get finished within the next 2 months because it needs to get behind us.
We all agree on that.
I'm tired of it too, but we've had a process. It takes a lot of information to make sure we're doing it correctly. So we're just trying to make sure we're doing it correctly. I appreciate everybody bearing with us. I understand some of you are opposed to it, and we respect that. Okay, anyone else?
Question.
Yes.
Dave Sliggins, resident. Who can sue you for upholding the ordinance in place right now? Because you just said everyone could sue you for, just not allowing it to happen. Who could sue you?
Well, the billboard companies or even the landowners.
For upholding the ordinance?
Well,
So
we started the process.
So, okay. Got it. Thanks.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Michael Broughton, town of Homer. A housekeeping request. I don't think it's right for people to have to be standing outside, so these meetings, it's actually in the open meetings law, have to be held in a place that has the seating capacity, whoever wants to attend.
Well, bring in another chair. I didn't expect this many people to show up tonight.
Yeah, there's been a lot ever since this really fired up.
Well, last month there wasn't that many. We were downstairs and there wasn't that many, so. We'll make sure we're back downstairs if it's just easier for us to have a meeting here, but if you want a chair, there's a chair out there, bring it in, you can set it over there and sit down.
In addition to that, I just, I don't, if there's these masses of people who are in support of this, then they need to make themselves known, because I have not. I've talked to people in the community, like you say, everybody knows everybody. Sure, a person here or there, but I haven't found that to be the case at all.
Anyone else? You done?
Yep.
Okay, anyone else? Okay.
I have one question. Will the research that you're doing that's coming out in the next month or two include the economic impact to the properties that are not the land where the billboards are going? Like the properties, the residences that are located in the zones that the billboards are going to be located, like Willow York Lake, Homer. Will that be part of the economic assessment?
I would presume if that's in the packet that we receive, yes. I haven't seen everything
Should be,
myself
right?
yet. It should be. I haven't seen everything yet myself.
Okay.
So I can't even comment to everything that's in that packet yet till we receive it. Because we got other people working on it to make sure it's done correct.
Okay. I think we would like to request that that be part of it.
Mhm.
So, thank you. No.
Okay, anyone else? All right, minutes. So we've got our regular board meeting. We'll do the regular minutes first, and then we'll do the special public hearing. So I need a motion for the regular meeting.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of the meeting.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Any comments, changes? Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So carried. The public hearing. Need a motion on that one?
Make a motion to accept the minutes from the public hearing.
Need a second.
I'll second that.
Any comment? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, the general bills.
I audited the general fund vouchers 198 through 225. A couple of the larger being compensating the New York State Comptroller's Office, returning the funds to them. Those are the two larger ones. The amount today would be $24,492.08. I'll move that they be accepted and paid as is.
Second.
I'll second that.
Any comments? Those in favor of paying the bills say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Highway bills.
I audited the highway bills, voucher number 108 to 120. It was a pretty large one this month. It totaled $106,567.23. But the bulk of that, or the main reason for it being so high, was the truck that was purchased on auction for $77,585. And there was one large gravel bill for about $4,000.
So you're making the
I
motion?
make the motion that we accept the bills as is.
I'll second that.
Second. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So this is gonna be a great time. I'm gonna pull a little bit out of order. We have a motion here because we bought a dump truck. It came up in between our board meetings, and that's part of the 77,000. But so we need a motion, an official motion to approve it. John came to us, if you remember, a few months back. A new dump truck was $330,000, and he said no. We got another truck to Town of Scott. Decided to get rid of one of their older trucks with 70,000 miles on it. John went up and looked at it, and he said this is incredibly great shape. It was at a municipal auction, so we did everything the proper way, and we picked it up for $77,538, was it?
Yeah.
So we have to have a motion on that, even though I did a board poll and everybody said they were good with it, we had the money in our fund, but I just want an official motion so we can put it in the records that it's been officially approved. So could you read it?
Sure, so that the resolution is noted on the record.
Yeah.
Whereas the town board of the town of Homer recognizes the need to replace its highway truck fleet on an as-needed basis to ensure proper highway maintenance, and whereas the town highway department is in need of an additional 10-wheeler truck for highway work purposes, now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Homer as follows. 1, authorization. The town board hereby authorizes the town highway superintendent to purchase a 10-wheel truck, Western Star brand, through municipal auction. 2, maximum amount. The purchase is authorized in an amount not to exceed $80,000. 3, effective date. The resolution shall take effect immediately.
So I'll make the motion, I need a second on that.
I'll second it, Mike.
Okay, any discussion on that? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. So we've got it paid for, we've got the insurance certificates, we're just waiting for the title to show up. John's gonna go down and register it, so we should have it on our premises next week. So it was a good deal, I mean, and John, he checked it all out, it's exactly what he wanted. It surprised Scott let it go, but they did, and it was good fortune for us. We saved a ton of money. Monthly report, so we need to receive and file our monthly report, so I need a motion on that.
I will make a motion to receive and file clerk's code, dog, and supervisor for the month of August.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. The planning and zoning board minutes, we gotta receive and file those. Need a motion on that?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from the planning and zoning board of appeals.
Second,
I'll second that.
any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Alright, so. We're just getting through the budget there, so I've got to make a budget adjustment. We received some money from the state for $3,268. So so I need to make a budget adjustment in our budget line. We're gonna add a new budget line, A3089, to receive this, and we're gonna increase our appropriations in A budget by $3,268. So we're accepting it and then our increased revenues, and then we're putting it in, and we're gonna put it in our town clerk equipment fund, and that's gonna pay for our new copier.
What was the money for?
What's that?
Why did we receive it? What was it for?
I'm not totally sure, but the state gave it to us, and they gave it, we checked on it, and they
Wish
said
I
it's
got
your
one of
money,
those.
so.
I think we should send it back.
Sometimes and it just showed up in our checking account. Direct deposited, we checked on it to make sure, because we got it after our last board meeting, so we know it is ours, it's all legit, it's not, so we won't end up giving it back, so we did check on that. It's just, it has something to do with the funding that should have been out earlier, I guess. So I need a motion to make these budget adjustments.
I'll make the motion to adjust the budget by $3,268.
I'll second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. I like it when we take money in for a change.
Yeah, really.
We didn't. Didn't you see this? We didn't.
Sun goes out, sun comes in. It's a good privilege of the board. Okay, Caleb, do you have a highway update?
Yeah, so we just voted on approving the truck that we already bought. We'll see that probably another week and a half. That's not gonna get put into full-time service. I think we're gonna use that as a backup truck primarily. The 5500 that we ordered is sitting on the lot. Does not have the dump box for it yet, so we're waiting on that to come in. Handful of the guys are using up the rest of their vacation time for the summer, which is hard to get them to do because they don't like to take vacation. What else are we working on? They're getting ready to start mixing up the sand and salt for this upcoming season.
Bridge.
Yep, and working on the
Ayers Bridge.
Bridge. Yep.
If you remember the Ayers Bridge, we had a notification on that, we brought it up earlier, John has to put some riprap in front of it to keep the erosion down, so.
Yeah, and that stuff's coming in from TH Kinsella, is that who's trucking it in for
I
us?
believe so. It's only a couple loads, it's not a huge thing, they just gotta put some bigger riprap. The bridge hasn't deteriorated, it's meant to keep it from deteriorating.
Where is that bridge located?
Cold Brook Road, you go up Cold Brook, just a little ways, it's a little bridge to the left, there's 3 houses that are down in there, it's a wood bridge, it's in great shape, I don't have to look at it. It's a very low traffic bridge.
I know right where you mean. Yep.
Yeah. Somehow we seem to get all these out of the way bridges. Anything else?
No, other than that, I talked with John for a while, and they're finishing up mowing the sides of the road, and
Yes, please thank them for me.
they just
I
started
almost
doing
called
Route
them one
90,
day,
and
and then by the end of the day, they were there. It was
I
great.
see they've been patching some roads here and there where there's some potholes up Sweeney Road, up anything off of Route 90, so they're making their rounds, and we're in pretty good shape for fall going into winter.
So, planning board, Mike, any updates for us?
Sure. So thanks for the opportunity. I think it's a good idea that we get together like this at least once every 6 months, bring everybody up to speed. Nothing, no great news at the planning board. The usual subdivisions, lot line adjustments, and special permits that we normally do. It's pretty much been the way now for several months, been fairly quiet. The one issue that has been festering now for almost 10 years is the wedding barn on Rice Hill Road, which is continuing to operate without a permit. And I know that our zoning code enforcement officer and the one before him have tried to rectify this thing, but they get nowhere with it. And to me, as the chair of the planning board, it's not fair to all the other businesses in this town that do it the right way. We just had one at the last meeting with Joanne Sweeney that's setting up a craft shop on their property, you know. Everybody else, I don't care if it's Homer Hops or whoever it is, they all go by the rules and get their permits and do things right. This situation has been going on too long, and something needs to be done about it. Part of the problem, as I see it, is they host weddings up there. They just had another one recently because she showed up at the farm and said that we were to stop spreading manure on that land up there because she had a wedding planned. Well, we did just because the people that are involved don't know the situation. And they think that they've got an up and up organization there, and so I don't want to ruin somebody's wedding day. So we did direct our trucks to go to another part of the farm. But some of these parties go late. I'm sure there's alcohol involved with like any wedding reception, and you're coming down off that hill to probably one of the worst intersections in central New York. In my lifetime, 3 people have died at that intersection, one in the 60s, one in the 70s, and one in the late 90s. I don't know. My concern is what could happen at the town level. I mean, are we liable for a lawsuit if we're allowing an organization to continue to operate without a permit? Well, Kevin has given her the list several times on what it would take to bring that building to code. They don't have parking. The last event she had up there was last fall, right while we were trying to do corn, and cars parked all the way down that very narrow road. Rice Hill is a very small road, we couldn't even get our trucks out onto the road to get back to the farm with silage because they're 36 feet long. We couldn't make the turn. We finally had to have the sheriffs come and get them to move cars so we could get out onto the road. So, I think every business in this town should be treated fairly, and this has just been going on too long. So I don't know what the town can do about it. Kevin and I talk about it all the time, and I just would like to see this rectified. So.
Deanna, that's something I will have to discuss.
That's it for me.
I know you called me the other night when we were talking, Mike, about the comprehensive plan. Can you give your feelings on why this comprehensive plan is important? We know we went in for the grant. I'm gonna expand on that a little bit.
It's been 21 years since we've had a comprehensive plan. And it's absolutely time to update it. The last time we did it, of course I've been on the planning board for 46 years. They obviously put me on when I was still in the crib. But the last time it was done, we put together a commission that included a couple people from the town board, a couple people from the planning board, a couple people from the ZBA, and then other citizens at large, so that we had a good mix of people to put their 2 cents in. I think it's an excellent idea. It's been too long. It's time to get the comprehensive plan updated.
So this will lead, and thank you very much. That's it for you, Mike?
Yep, that's it.
So that is a great lead into, we applied for a comprehensive grant. So I've been talking with them. So that went in, I figure we'd know by now, but they're telling me we're not gonna know till sometime in December if we receive that grant. So they're asking for $74,700 for their part of the grant. The town will be, if it gets approved, then we're gonna be on the hook for $8,300. That's gonna give us professional services to help us write. I just yesterday received the booklet on what it's gonna all include. I just gave it to Mike, I asked him to go ahead and read it over because he's very involved in that, and then I'll get it back, I'll read it over and make it available to anyone else, just to see what it's gonna include. If we get the grant, then this will take effect next year sometime. It's gonna be comprised of some board members, planning board, ZBA, members in the community, and of course some professional people to help drive it and get us going down the right path. Because we did talk about trying to do this again in-house. It is a big task. I think Mike can. And we really, back then it wasn't quite as complex with Micron coming in. I think it's really gonna change the dynamics of our area even. So we just need to be prepared. So that's where we are. So keep our fingers and toes crossed that we get that grant. It'll be a big help. If not, we'll discuss it then and see what we want to do. If not, and it doesn't look like we're going to get it, then we'll have to do our own. But New York has got a big push to make this happen, so I think we stand a good chance. So thank you, Mike.
Okay, thank you.
So the clerk's update.
We don't really have much to update other than we're very busy. And we have our new suite Donna.
Well, before we get to her,
In the
what else did you
office.
get? You got something new in your office, didn't you, boy?
Oh yeah, we got the printer. We're still working out the kinks. Brooke Brooke got the wrath of it a little bit today, but we made it through, so that's good. He said it was gonna be quieter. It's definitely not, but it is huge, and it prints definitely in the newer age style. So we'll get there.
Okay, now go on, Chair.
And then we have Donna Cotis, who is our part-time clerk. She's been with us 2 weeks now, and she's very big help to us so far, obviously, with dogs is what she's tackling right now. And she is also helping Kevin in his code office, which is half of the organization to the visual eye already.
Don, would you like to stand up and say anything? And do you know everybody on the board? You want to go around?
Well, I know a couple people that are on board, so, he's always come to my house for repairs when I had to have it done. I'm not sure who the next girl is.
Sarah Head, nice to meet you.
What's the last name?
Head, H-E-A-D, nice to meet you.
The two girls and you, and I'm not sure with you.
Dan Ellis, attorney. Nice to
Oh,
meet you.
okay. I know Caleb, he's my cousin.
Hi, Donna.
Hi, and I know Mr. Williams from coming into the village, because they worked over at the village with the water bills, so he always came and paid his water bill and said hi, so. I'm glad to be here, it'll be different, it's, a lot of dogs that are in the town that never realized, and all the different names that go along with them, so, but it's interesting, it's gonna be fun, I'm gonna enjoy it, so.
Welcome aboard.
Just try to get answering the phone pretty soon, and I'll be talking to everybody.
And right now, you're working 10 to 2?
Yeah, 10 to 2 is what I'm in there for, so, I get to sleep in a little bit and still be able to go home early, so
There you go.
that's good.
So great addition, we're glad you're here, and our office is just so busy. You come down there, anytime you come down there, it's just busy bees down there, my goodness. I don't know how these other towns do it, but first
It is, it's crazy, I've been here, like last week was a little crazy for me because I started, but then this past week, with the girls in there and people coming in for their hunting and fishing licenses, people are coming in, all the time to that, so it's busy and they get through it, so they do a good job.
Okay, well, thank you. Welcome aboard. So I got the Homer Fire Department. Welcome, Kevin. How was the ceremony?
It's fine. Homer always does a great job.
So we're on the Homer Fire Department. So all I'm doing is just gonna update you. So with our copier, we got the new copier, so we have our older copier. So we're looking at it, who's gonna be the best use of that copier. So there might be a trickle down effect. If we end up with a spare copier, we may be donating that to the Homer Fire Department. Just a heads up there. What the copier that was in the office looks like it may be going to the courts.
Court clerks
Okay. And then their copier
is the extra.
may end up being the extra, and if nobody has a need for that one, and then that's the one that we will donate to the Homer Fire Department. So when that happens, we'll get a motion on that because we're getting rid of surplus. I think we have to do it that way. Or should we do it right now? I just don't know what copier it's gonna be.
I would wait.
Okay.
To know.
The other thing too, that there was a request from the chief of the Homer Fire Department. So they're in the process, they gotta secure a new rescue mini pumper truck. Of course, they're quite expensive. The one they have now is over 20 years old. So they just asked, is there anything that we can do to help them out by giving them a donation towards that truck?
We just gave him a copier. Isn't that good?
It is. I told them I would talk to the board. I'm not even gonna propose a dollar amount or anything like that. If it's something that you guys are interested in that we pursue a little bit, we'll look into the budget and see if we're, where we can, if we have some surplus someplace that we could donate something towards it. Because they do fire protection for the whole town. We do pay a fire fee, but again, they really do a great job. We're very blessed with our fire department here, so.
How much is a new truck?
Oh, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing it's probably gonna be in the $200,000 to $300,000 range. I mean, because it's gonna be a full-fledged pumper, maybe more. But the one they want to update is over 20 years old. They're saying this is gonna be a four-wheel drive, because we have a lot of properties now. People are building, and they're building out in the country where you can't get a full-size pumper up until like in the winter. Like one of them was up here on 11, they built a house way up on top of the hill there where you gotta go up the driveway like that, and he says there's no way they can get a big truck up there if they ever had to fight the fire. So they're trying to be proactive for the future of changing up their fire trucks. So is that something you're okay that we look at? I'm not saying we're gonna do anything, but if I can squeeze something out, we come back and then we'll talk about it next month. Okay. So we're fast approaching the budget time, so I just want to give you an update on our sales tax. Maybe some of you have heard about it and not heard about it. A little bit blindsided, there's not a lot of information, but the city and the county been renegotiating the sales tax agreement. Even though there's another year left on the agreement, the city threatened to preempt. So I don't know if you understand the sales tax. The sales tax by law belongs to the county and the city. But the cities, if they preempt, and what that means, the city would only be entitled to the taxes within the city proper, wherever was sold in the city proper. And the county gets the rest of it. It's been a formula in the county for 40, 50 years, whenever sales tax came out, that it gets split up among the municipalities. Now, we were, I believe, was at 56%. So I went to a meeting last Thursday, but I just found out about it last week. So our legislators haven't been informing us or anything. They've been renegotiating. If they stick with the formula they have, we're going to lose close to $600,000 out of our budget that we're going to have to make up through taxes. There's no other way to make that on the up. So it's going to be, and we run a lean budget, so we don't have a lot of areas to cut and trim. So it's, but it's going to get phased in over 2 or 3 to 4 years. And we went to the meeting and we were very vocal about that. We were not happy with that. So hopefully they're going to go back to the drawing board and relook at it, because it's not only devastating to our budget, that's half of our sales tax. We're going to lose half our sales tax. We're like $1.1 million, I think. So we're going to drop down to 550 to 600. So it's just a huge hit. Virgil's going to hit. Cortlandville's going to take over $1 million loss. Every municipality, a lot of your smaller towns, their whole budget is based on their sales tax. So it's going to be devastating to the county, small towns and villages. So we're all up in arms about it. We talked to them, we voiced our opinions very forcefully at that meeting. So they're going back. He said they were going back to the drawing board, but again, we have no say. All we can do is ask our legislators not to vote for it. So we'll see where that comes out. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up.
Do they say why it's so extreme, or why?
Why is that?
Why are they looking to make such an extreme change?
Because they need money.
For that.
I think they're operating on a deficit.
And to be fair to the county, they get a lot of mandates that we do not have. The state, our state is what really is really messed up, because they're driving so many mandates. And what a mandate is, they say you have to fund this, and then they put it to the counties and they put it to the cities, and even to extent to the villages in the town. You will fund this, you will do this, and there's no funding to support. Like their Medicaid, the federal government gives the state billions of dollars to pay for Medicaid. The state's supposed to pass it out to the towns or to the counties. The county's supposed to pass it out. The state doesn't do it. They keep it all and make the counties cough up that share of the money that they got to pay. It's just devastating. So the county's got a lot on their plate, and I understand that because I was the county chairman for a couple of years, and I know what they go through, and I know what the mandates do. So I can sympathize with that, but to do it this quick and this drastic is very harmful. We pointed out to them that if they raise their taxes, leave us alone, it's spread out over, it doesn't look as bad as the town increasing our taxes. I mean, we're some of the lowest in the state, Homer taxes, and it's going to go up. But we're going to be proportionate to everybody else. Everybody's going to be forced to go up. So we got to look at that. If they come to an agreement right now, this coming year, it can't take effect till 6 months after the agreement. So this year, they got to make a decision by the end of September, because every town and municipality has to build their budgets right now. So we have to know how to budget. So if they don't and they wait another year, good for us. I mean, our budget will remain pretty flat. But eventually, if they do pass it, it's going to be devastating to our budgets if they stick with their plan.
Mike, let's segue into the reevaluation plan, because that has a big part with the sales tax as well. Okay, are we going to vote on that tonight?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
So we're going to get to that. It's on the agenda. So I just wanted to throw that out and we'll just go down through and we'll get to that.
I think right now on Plan 6, whatever plan they're on, fibers, I don't know what it is now, it might be different, but I know that actually having the assessments up at 100% are actually gonna mitigate a little bit of us, especially in the village.
It will help, it'll help the county also. So we could move to the resolution. As you remember, we had last month, and I asked you guys, everybody to think about it, the reassessment. Brian Fitz came and talked about it. So we are gonna be looking at, to do the reassessment, it was 45, it's gonna be about $49,000 for the reassessment. Here it is. $49,175 to do the reassessment. So we're gonna pay the assessors $45,000, and then they do mailers and stuff, so they figure it will be another $4,200 for mailers and stuff. So it brings us up to about $49,175. There is a potential that the state aid will reimburse some of that. They could reimburse on the low side, it's usually about $2, on the high side it's $5. If you remember, Kevin said he's never seen anybody get $5. My feeling is we'll probably end up, if we get anything, it'll be the $2. But we don't plan on that. We need to plan on spending $49,175 if we want to do this. We can pay this over time. I talked to Kevin again today. Our best option is to pay it monthly. $1,875 is no interest on that. We keep the money in the bank, drawing interest as long as possible because we'll raise it through our taxes and then pay it out. He'll bill us monthly if we approve that, so that we would be paying $1,875 a month for 25 months. So that makes the most sense. And that'll equal the 45,000. The 2,000 and the 2,000 for your mailers, that would be a separate bill, but that would be about 2,000 based on the properties that we have. So I have a motion here. Dan, did you read the motion?
That's a different motion. No, we don't have a motion on this one, you just need to approve the
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry.
contract.
So we need a motion to, for the reevaluation of the town of Homer. Somebody like to make that motion? We can go into discussion after that.
I'll make the motion.
The reevaluation. And to authorize it to $49,175. Second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay. More discussion on that. Kevin, you want to bring up the sales tax on it?
No, I just, from what I'm seeing, it's consistent in every plan that is going forward, that having the reassessment at 100% right now is going to be critical for us. So getting ahead of it right now, I think we can mitigate a little bit of what's going to happen, whatever happens. I think there's still going to be a phase in on this, a 5-year or something like that. But if it gets too dicey in the next year, it could just happen all at once. So I don't even know what's going to happen. So yeah, move forward on the reassessment. We really got to look at those exemptions. We might still have to look at those and just see what kind of segment of population really would benefit from it, what the overall costs are going to be, and then get in front of this, get way in front of this.
Right. I didn't want to look at the exemptions just yet because they can't take effect till next year, but we need to do more research on that.
Yeah.
But I just want to get this, need to get on Fitz's calendar, make this happen next year, because he's getting booked. Every municipality is going to be doing a reevaluation. Virgil just did it, Cortland just did it, the city of Cortland. And they're working on a couple
And
others.
you're talking about exemptions, or you're talking about the
Senior citizens and the
citizens.
veterans. So we need to look at that. We can't do anything about it for our upcoming budget. We just don't have time enough to prepare properly. But we will look at it because it could make a difference for a lot of our seniors and our veterans if they can stay in the property, especially if we have to increase our taxes tremendously. Any other questions or comments on that? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, so just an update on the Wall Street Bridge. As you know, we didn't get the funding. We finally got a chance to do the debriefing with the state and stuff. The next round of grants are 3 to 4 years, they think, away before the next round of grants are. And fortunately, we got some people that are very honest, and they said they doubted we'd ever get the grant. And it makes sense. You got a bridge there that maybe sees 100, and then that may be pushing the cars over in a day, where they got bridges that are talking thousands of people a day. So, you know, the resources, there's a limited amount of resources. So chances of us getting a grant for that bridge are almost gonna be null. I wish they told us sooner, because to write these grants, we've spent some money on it. So we've done it 3 times now, at least twice, maybe 3.
Are you talking Wall Street or Pine?
It's gonna be both.
The Wall Street Bridge, we were gonna rebuild the Wall Street Bridge.
That's a pedestrian bridge, right?
No, the pedestrian bridge is here. One bridge is shut right now, but Wall Street Bridge is the one that we wanted to redo.
Wall Street Bridge is shut.
So what we're gonna do is, I took a look at it, we're gonna start looking outside of the box. I'm gonna pull the committee back together with the town. We're gonna get Paul Sweeney back together. We're gonna look at it. There's other ways of doing these bridges, so we're not gonna get, right now I'm thinking, and I'm just talking out loud so everybody knows, we're not gonna get the bridge we wanted to go in 2 lanes wide and stuff. We're gonna have to go to a smaller bridge. We're gonna have to up our weight limit. My thought is, we'll look at the bridges, leave the embankments in there, come over, put new embankments in, put a bridge over, increase your ramp exposure. There's no way this town can afford $2.5 million for a bridge to do it to the state standard, the way they designed it. We can design and make a safe bridge, but we do it to the town of Homer standards that meet DOT requirements and get the cost where it's reasonable. The state demanding $900,000 just in engineering. This bridge isn't big enough for $900,000. So we gotta re-look at it, think outside of the boxes, which we're gonna start on as soon as budget's over. We're gonna look at that, come up with a more viable plan, and see if we can afford to move forward. Any questions on that? Is there anybody on the board would like to be on that bridge committee when we get it to going? Right, 2? Okay. Okay, so I'll let you know when we're gonna do it, and we're gonna, it's just, we just don't have those kind of resources for a bridge, you know, it's not that highly traveled. So we just did, okay, so the next one on our list, we did the highway truck. So what you have in front of us, because I didn't have it on there, I've been fighting with our engineers, so you've got this little picture here, I had to fight to get that tonight. And after these guys, where's our prints? We were supposed to go out to bid at the end of August. Now they're telling me it's gonna be another 2 months. I'm really disappointed, but there's nothing we can do, because their engineers and their architects are working on it, but they're behind. But I'm there, you know, we wanted to go to a winter bid, because we're gonna get our best price if we do this in the winter. You go into the spring, every contractor in the world is busy, and they wanna work outside. So I'm really gonna keep pushing them. I'd like to get our final bid documents so we can review them, but this is the overall view. Here's a couple more copies if anybody out in the audience would like to see them. So that's the layout downstairs. As you can tell, right here is the police department, so that would be underneath us here, the police department. Then I'm calling it our community room, but it'll be our senior citizen multi-purpose room, will be on that side of the building. They're gonna be totally separated. And that's the plan that we all agreed on, but this is just a little bit more refined. But this is the best I could do for tonight, and believe me, I've been riding them to get this. So this is what we have so far to date. Do you understand it? Do you guys understand what you're looking at there?
They won't be redoing the courtroom though, that stays intact?
No, the courtroom has been redone,
Right,
so
okay.
we will not touch the courtroom. So you'll see the courtroom there, there's a ramp there, so everything from that ramp headed out to Main Street will be redone. It'll be nice in a sense to have the police department here for the visibility of the police department here, also for protection of our people in. I mean, the world's gone crazy, all these shootings and stuff, unfortunately. Even though we're in a little town of Homer, hopefully it never happens here, but it just gives them more presence. We have a lot of people in this. Both sides handle a lot of money, a lot of checks. You got the courts here, so with the police presence here, I think it can be just a good thing. And it makes it truly a community building. So that's where we're at on that, guys. As soon as I get more information, we will, like I said, I'm hoping within the next month or so, we're gonna have enough documents so we can do it on time to get it done. That's probably gonna be about $1 million, I'm thinking anywhere from 800 to $1.2 million to get this project done. Moving over to the highway department now. So as you know, we've been busy trying to pull us into the 21st century very slowly, but yet fastly. So the highway department is the latest thing we decided to tackle. I got the highway department on board with this. So we're going to get them a computer. We're going to get the internet in there, and we're talking about a cell phone and time clocks. John's getting a little more involved, but you know, he's coming along to it. So I got prices on computers. Technically, it's under the $1,000 mark, but I did go out. The girls got me to 3 bids. I was gonna say I went out and I did not do it. Our clerks did it for me. Computer North is the ones that take care of our computers and service them. We bought our other computers. They actually came in at the low bid of $817.99. That's the computer to monitor the programming that it needs. And then there's going to be a slight charge, and it wouldn't matter what computer we got. They'll come down, set it up, hook it into the internet, and get it all working so that they can talk back in. So I'd like to have a motion that we go ahead and purchase this computer. And I did get 3 bids, but we don't really need it because I have the authority to up to $1,000. But anytime we got the time, I just assume more by you guys. Thoughts on it?
Yeah, you want me to make the motion?
Yep.
I make a motion that we take the lowest of the 3 bids to purchase the computer for the highway department. Lowest lowest qualified bidder being $817.99 from Computer Outlet North. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion on the computer part? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
You coming to
Aye.
train him?
What's that?
Is she gonna come and train him?
Oh, yeah, there you go. Well, hey, that's a great idea.
Good idea.
When do we introduce you to
Just
Mr.
saying.
Phelps? You will earn your money on this one. Great guy, well, he's not. This thing of a modern phone is the one that flips. All right, so we're gonna get that in the works, but we probably won't get it here for probably to the end of the first part of next month. So part of what the highway department's gonna do, they're gonna clean out that office and bring it up. It needs painting, and needs cleaning out, and they got records in there, go back to the 60s and 70s, so we come to an agreement, let's haul it out, get it back updated, make it a viable, usable office as we're going forward. I'm gonna be looking into getting a time clock. We've been looking at, so we're gonna end up going with Spectrum for service there. Number one, they're the only ones that's already hooked to the building. There's nobody else that feeds it. Again, the clerks did all the research for me. T-Mobile was another option. And I did some research on T-Mobile after it was suggested. It just didn't seem like a viable option. They gave one price to the clerks, and it was $174, wasn't it? It was right up there. I called them up and said, look, you gotta do better than that. So they gave me a price of $46. I told them, put it in writing, get it sent to us, and they haven't done it yet. So as soon as I get it in writing, we'll pull the trigger on that and get the internet set over there. I talked to them about getting a time clock to make things easier. The time clock setup I want to go to is when they punch in over there, it'll transfer into the computer and sent over to the clerks where they keep the master, so everybody punches in, punches out. Won't be so much transforming. Doesn't mean that our road superintendent still doesn't have the final say on the hours, they will, but it saves our office a lot of chasing. Because if John is out for a couple of days, or whoever the road superintendent is going into the future. The last part of that is we're talking of going to a cell phone for our town road superintendent. And the reason I want to do that is because John's been doing it, he's ending his 21st year. He's done it for a very long time, done an excellent job. He's eventually going to be retiring, so he's got his own personal cell phone, and that's what he uses. Every vendor, every supplier has, and he doesn't want to give up his cell phone with that number. We have a phone, a landline in the office that doesn't hardly ever get used. So the option is, I want to go to a cell phone that our road superintendent has on him. With using, hopefully we can transfer our town phone number to it that we already have established there. Talking to John and the deputy, they think it's a great idea too now because they can get calls in the middle of the night. They don't have to run down and check the phone. And then if road superintendents switch, I mean, they got to run for office every so many years. If it changes, the phone is a continuity. That number stays the same. So it just makes sense to do that. So I'm just updating you on what we're looking at and what we need to get in place. I'd like to have that in place by first of the year also. Any questions on that? Those guys that hate to see me coming around because we're just pushing them to, we're getting there. We did the comprehensive plan, so Dan, do you have anything?
Yeah, Mike, I would like the board to consider the adoption of the resolution for the second deputy clerk.
Yes, thank you.
So I'll read that out loud to the board for the record. Whereas the town board of the town of Homer recognizes the need to ensure the smooth and efficient operation of the town clerk's office. Whereas it is necessary to have adequate coverage and delegation of responsibilities to maintain effective administrative functions within the town clerk's office. And whereas authorizing 2 deputy town clerks to assist in the town clerk's office will ensure smooth and efficient operation in the office of the town clerk. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Homer as follows. 1. Authorization. The town board hereby authorizes deputy town clerk 1 by position and deputy town clerk 2 by position to act generally for and in place of the town clerk of the town of Homer. And that last bit of that language there is straight from the civil service, so they're asking for this. 2, scope of authority. The aforementioned deputy town clerks are authorized to act generally for and in place of the town clerk of the town of Homer. This includes but is not limited to executing official documents, attending meetings, and fulfilling administrative functions related to the town clerk's office. 3, duration. The authorization shall be effective immediately upon adoption of this resolution. Shall remain in effect until further notice for the contrary is provided by the town board. 4, effective date. This resolution shall take effect immediately for consideration of the board.
So I need a motion, a second, and we'll go to some discussion. So we make a motion.
A motion to accept the resolution for the.
Okay, second on that.
I'll second that.
Okay. So we've been going around and around with the civil service. We thought we had this resolved. And technically we do, because when you read what they're requiring of us, we already comply. We've been arguing with them. Fred has been talking a lot with them for us, and he actually, we were talking tonight, he's gone above their heads. He's actually gone to the state next level up, so they're gonna look into it too. But every town is getting hassled on that. We're not the only one. We already are in compliance, but they're saying we need this resolution because we don't have it. We may and we may not. So I wanted to get it in place because what they're saying is if they don't have it and we don't get this resolved, then our deputies will have to do a civil service test. If we have this in place, they won't have to. So I'm doing this as a backup guarantee that we don't have to have our clerks do a civil service test. Hoping we don't need it, but I want it as a safeguard. So we're gonna keep pursuing. I don't know where all this comes up all of a sudden. We had this all ironed out. We voted on this once before. We didn't have, it was a little bit different resolution. Now they're saying we have to have this resolution. So that's why I'm doing it tonight. I just wanna make sure we don't run into trouble. So by the end of this month, if we don't have it straightened out, we have to have a resolution in place, which we will have, so we'll be covered either way. Does that make sense, everybody?
Mhm.
Okay, those in favor of accepting the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Dan?
The only other thing I had, Mike, I've had some conversations with Kevin, code officer, it was last week. There's some questions about the definition of lot coverage with solar. So with the board's blessing, I'd like to continue those conversations with Kevin and kind of iron out any. Maybe, maybe we need to make a small change to the local law, maybe we don't, but I'd just like to look at that.
Sorry, question with what was solar?
Lot coverage percentage, it's more of an interpretation question, so I wanna look at the zoning and see if there is any actual need to make any updates to clarify that lot coverage. And some questions came from some solar developers, so we wanna look at that a little closer.
There's two, and I'm glad you brought that up, there's two new solar projects gonna be proposed in the town of Homer. They're small ones, so they don't fall under, and I forget all the terminology, the large scale.
Like the Article 10 siting,
Yeah,
state siting.
so they have to, fortunately for us, they gotta follow a little more strict process, we have a little more control on that. And we do have some laws in place. But Kevin, and maybe even Mike, they're thinking they need to be tightened up a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's just some interpretation questions, so we may need to make some of the language a little more clear. But we'll get into that and see if anything needs to be done.
And where these two are going, they're up in the country, my understanding was. So, to me, it's the ideal place to put them because you're not gonna see them. These other ones are such an eyesore. You know, coming in the towns and stuff, you're seeing them, so. But anyways, we can't stop them and it's a necessary evil, I guess, but at least with them, we have a little bit of control of. Not a lot, but a little bit. Anything else?
Just one last thing, the unsafe buildings law was stamped as filed September 3rd. I don't have the filing receipt yet, but I did check the website, it's official.
It was official. Your quick thoughts, is there gonna be, on this wedding barn situation? Is that something you can look into? Because if it is dangerous and they're not in compliance, there's gotta be something.
Yeah, I'll get in touch with Kevin and see what's already been done and what we may need to do next.
Okay. Anything else?
That'll do it.
We're not adjourned yet, guys. We need to go with an executive session. It's a personnel issue.